The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Wednesday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey here in studio. Brendan Schaefer out at Busch Stadium, and he very well timed putting the sunglasses on right as we were going live on YouTube and on Facebook. He knew that the camera was about to be rolling and was ready to go with the shades right as it went with the red light going on. Wow.
Yeah, I was not ready with the Wi-Fi, though. So we'll work on that. We'll work on the internet connection. Hey, you get a little more of me today because they decided to have batting practice at like 2 o'clock. So here we are. Let's do it.
Hey, ready for some Cardinals baseball later tonight. Last night, again, another Tarps Off Walk-off victory. I mean, and the whole stadium leaned into it, and it seems that they're going to keep doing it too, which is awesome to see. We're going to talk about that and yet another exciting Cardinals win against a key opponent in the Pirates coming up, and they'll play them again tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Chiefs Rashee Rice problem, because it is very much a big problem. I mean,
this guy. I mean, come on.
Oh, man, it is just awful right now. So we're going to talk about that at 5:05. We're going to have some talk about Tony Petitti and why he's desperately trying to defend this 24-team college football playoff model that the Big Ten has championed and that he's trying to rally everybody's support for. And at 4:25, excited to bring on some special guests from the Columbia Convention and Visitors Bureau. They're going to talk to us about their bid to keep basketball and wrestling championships from MSHSAA in Columbia. So we'll talk to them at 4:25. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Let's get to this first.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Well, our special guests from yesterday, the SFA club baseball team, and the two guys really at the center of it, Bryce and Caleb, the two guys that really started the Tarps Off movement over the weekend at Busch Stadium. Well, they had one last hurrah at Busch Stadium last night, all populated in that outfield section with the Tarps Off, of course. And look, Cardinals won in a walk-off again. It was Ivan Herrera's 3-run homer in the bottom of the 10th inning to send the Cardinals over the Pirates 9-6 last night, as the Cardinals hit 4 home runs in the game. J.J. Weatherholt, Nolan Gorman, and Alec Burleson having long balls as well. But the Tarps Off energy, they're trying to keep it going as long as possible at Busch Stadium. Even as the SFA folks leave town, they're dedicating a whole section to it now until further notice, I suppose. That's the Big Show's big deal on this 20th day of May, 2026. I mean, they had the rally towels yesterday, which was great. I don't know how many times they're going to be handing those out, but they are now apparently going to just have it, what is essentially a supporter section. Like, this is the section where you can take your shirt off and you can twirl it around and you can act crazy. Where those guys were, I assume, somewhere out there in the outfield, is the Tarps Off section for the rest of the season. Brendan, is that the mindset here? I think there wasn't an end date put on it. That's for sure.
No, I think the Cardinals said the permanent new home of it, I guess, for as long as people want to do it. Now, they did move the section from where it started on Friday and Saturday, and I guess continued there Sunday. Tuesday, yesterday's game, it was the bleachers in right field, which I actually think has a chance to be pretty cool. Because when you think about it, when you have these seats out in right field, there might be some other people sitting there that eventually people will know that, like, that was a thing. But you also don't want to upset people who are like, hey, this is kind of where my seat was, so I don't know if I want to take my shirt off. I think putting it in the bleachers allows you to basically say, hey, if you go in the bleachers, you know what's up. And it's just, I don't think they're selling specific tickets to it. I think it's just maybe, you know, if you're in the bleachers, that's what's up. And anybody that has a seat somewhere else, you can go sit there and have that be what you want to do with yourself. So I think it's a good idea because it's kind of contained. I'm actually trying to walk over there now to kind of take a look at it and maybe show it on the YouTube. But like, it's contained in, it looks like 3 sections of bleachers. And think about a weekend like the Cubs are coming to town at the end of May. Think about a weekend in May where those bleachers end up filling up with crazy people doing the tarps off. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's absolutely what it should be there for, especially for those series. And if you're just going to do it, I mean, if you're going to do it for those series, you might as well do it for all of them. All right, Brendan is trying to show the on YouTube, on our YouTube and Facebook streams here, where you can subscribe now if you want to watch the show. Those are the designated tarps off sections, right in front
I think
of
it's
the board. Yeah,
over the bullpen.
Okay. I like it. That actually, like, if you're in that spot, a lot of the time you're just you want to see the game. You don't care where your seat is. You want to just be in the building, and even if you're near that spot, I think you'd be fine with being near where all the energy is with the tarps off stuff.
But it's like there's a railing on both ends of the three sections, so it's all pretty self-contained. And then once it's full, it's full. Like, you won't have people kind of lingering in the aisles. That could be a safety issue. So, like, go nuts in that area. Those are your bleachers. And I think, could it spread in other areas of the ballpark? People take their shirts off. Anything can happen. But, like, in the official capacity of congregating, I think wherever your tickets were, you can go out there and do the party every night all season long. And I think, like last night, I think one of those bleacher sets of the three filled up. What are we going to see tonight? Maybe not a ton, because it's still a weekday in May, and we'll see what we get. But I am really thinking about some of those weekends coming up. I bet you the whole thing will be filled for some of those weekend games, Andy, because I feel like Cardinals fans are really leaning into this, and people that haven't maybe gotten a chance to do it yet are going to be like, "Hey, I'm 22. I got a decent body on me. I'm going to go show it off." Like, that's not where I am. That's not my stage of life, Andy. But for many, and they're the folks I heard about, that talking to those guys yesterday. They're talking about, well, there were some kids that made their dads do it, and like, that's something that I think is going to be potentially going on all summer long. So yeah, I think it's a cool thing that the Cardinals have embraced. I really think about it like, would John Mozeliak have allowed all this to happen? I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. I'm not trying to be.
Yeah, let's go. Pour it on him.
I'm not trying to blame Mo, because that's everybody's favorite game to play. But I'm like, isn't there new energy here? Is it just like as simple as, let's follow the lead of what is organically happening around us and be able to lean into the fun on that? Like, there's a lot of great things you can say about the Cardinals organization of the past couple of decades or so. But I don't know if that's one of them, that like they've been the organization that's going to lean into the fun craze and like not take itself too seriously. No, that's never been the Cardinals. That's been like the antithesis of the Cardinals. So for the Cardinals to be exactly that, and like not even in a jokey way, like there's just kind of a way about being a Cardinal that the fans have sort of, even at times, it can come off a little stodgy. It can come off a little, they're not doing that now. They're like, look, this is a fun thing that happened organically. We didn't try to make this happen. But now that it's happened, we want to lean into it. We want to allow people to celebrate in this and not certainly not put a stop to it. And they've enhanced it by now it's a national craze. I know it didn't start here at Busch Stadium. There's college football. It's been happening. But I think it's pretty cool that, it happened at Busch Stadium for the first time in MLB, and now look at, the way it's taken off. So we'll see what happens tonight, but I'm not going to freak out if there's like 12 people out there tonight and not a full section. I think it'll be more notable as you get to the weekends coming up and maybe what might happen then.
It'll be interesting. Again, other MLB teams or other fan bases are picking up on it and they're creating their own tarps off moments. Springfield Cardinals are going to do it even. Like,
I saw that.
Yeah, permeating over to the minor leagues. Love it.
Yeah.
But that's going to be very interesting how the Cardinals try to keep that up. And, well, it worked last night. I mean, can't complain with the result when it's 4 home runs deep in the game and you find a way to beat the Pirates despite the fact that Are we worried about Riley O'Brien? I don't want to start with that, but like it's like it's not another not great blown save, fourth on the year. I know we're not worried about him.
Don't do the sports radio thing. We can't just react to the game. You have to.
Sports Soriano in the ninth inning all of a sudden.
You have to react to the. You have to talk about the game because it's the last thing that happened. But no, I think he was maybe just lost command of a couple of the pitches there, and he started hitting guys. The one for Griffin was almost bat handled. They reviewed it and still said it hit him. It's just one of those things. Like, that's kind of how it was for Liberatore as well in the fifth inning. Like, he had a career high in strikeouts last night, Matthew Liberatore, 9 strikeouts, but was out of the game before the end of the fifth inning, just after I kept raving about how great it's been for the Cardinal rotation to be always getting through 5.
Yeah.
I believe it was the first time since Hunter Dobbins in the Paul Skeens game that they didn't get a starter through 5. That was April 30th. So it's been almost 3 weeks of the rotation just being really steady. Libby was fantastic yesterday until he wasn't, but like, it's just one of those things where one play doesn't get made, you don't have a double play turn, then you walk in some guys, a couple bloops go in, and then you throw the pitch that burns you, Reynolds, the double to the wall. Like, I don't know if the Cardinals are viewing that one as the end of the world, but it is sort of a thing that's going to be talked about with Libby of, you get to that fifth inning and things seem to start happening, and that's something he can get through, a hump he can get past. But, I think the fact that the Cardinals have that happen with Libby, don't play a clean game. He had a couple errors. He had JC just falling down off of third base. There's a toot land. And you have all these things happening where you're like, that's not really the detail-oriented Cardinals that we've been given a lot of credit to all year long. But they hit 4 bombs and they win in walk-off fashion. Like, that's been the Cardinals this year. Even when they're not doing the things that we have come to expect, that's a game where they still find a way to win it because they go, let's just start socking some dingers, and they win 9-6 that way. Like, it's a lot of fun to see the multitude of ways that they can win some ball games right now.
That's what is then changing the math for me too, because we would expect a team like the Cardinals on paper, how young they are, and there's going to be mistakes made and everything like that. And that likely for a team that is usually in the Cardinals position, expecting to rebuild, expecting to just see what guys have, you expect to probably lose a lot of games in that fashion when you just, a few too many guys make mistakes. And it's going to happen. It's not like all of a sudden you're in the wrong direction. It's just the nature of it. Like, you're not going to have guys have it all figured out by the time they are in these positions, in these roles, when they are at the point in their careers that they're at. But the fact that they are still winning through those games, because it wasn't even just this game. Like, they've had a couple of games, not many, where they have made a lot of mistakes, but a couple, but have still come out on the winning end of it. And this was just another example to the point where, all right, if they're already limiting the games where you wonder, why is this a real Major League Baseball team? Like, those games are almost completely off the table. But then when they pop up every so often, because it happens to every Major League team, but they are still finding ways to overcome it. And it doesn't come from one specific area. We've talked about this all the last couple months, Brendan. There's still no one specific team that I'm like, they're awesome at this. Like, or they're awesome at, stealing bags or cutting at anything like that. Maybe we're starting to see a little more of a strength. Offensively is kind of where it lies, but it's still a team that just collectively finds an area against a certain team to exploit, and then they're able to really exploit it and turn it into wins.
Yeah, I think they play complementary baseball. They do that really well. And I don't know how much that's a thing because it is an individualized sport. Like, you're up there batting, the pitcher's up there pitching to you, but then, like, the ball's going to go in play. What are the fielders going to do? Are they working together? Are they hitting the cutoff man? Are they, there's a lot of different things that are not individualized within the game. I will say the thing that I think they do well, and it does show up about as often as I think it can, not that they steal a bunch of bags, but when they do, it's oftentimes off the pitcher, like that they found something on the pitcher. But last night, there was an example where they thought they did that, and the pitcher delay, stepped off and was able to throw to second and get the guy. But even that, like, they don't mind making those types of mistakes when it's my coaches told me this is what to look for with this reliever or whatever. And when you see it go and you get thrown out, that's a mistake of aggression that Ollie Marmol is never going to mind one bit. He said last night there were some of those, and then there were some of the mistakes of just maybe not the aggressive mistake that we love, because they're not going to mind that mistake. But there were the types that you go, yeah, probably not your favorite. But it's just one of those things that, with a group like this, I think having the mentality that we have heard them talk about after big wins, which is, we're not going to get too high. We're going to come back in the next day and do the same preparation that helped us achieve that result in the first place. I think after a game where it doesn't go well, you can come back the next day and it doesn't change. It's the same preparation that put us in position to succeed. Did we succeed or not the day before that? You can't tell looking at this team whether or not they won the day before the day they're on. They won yesterday and didn't play great despite, the 4 bombs and the 9 runs. They didn't play that fundamental Cardinal game. But it should be noted, and this is not all to pin on Cesar Prieto, but like Mason Wynn wasn't at shortstop yesterday. Their defense is such a huge part of what they do. Wynn is back in there tonight. I asked Ollie, how's Wynn? He said he came in, he's good, he wanted to be in there. So we're going to see, guys. But I do think that's something to keep an eye on. How's that left knee? Because he had the right knee surgery. Is this something where he had that experience, understood how much that impacted him to grind to the point that now you got to get it repaired? Or, does he kind of find that he's unable to slow down when he needs to? We'll see. Like, I think he's a guy that wants it every day to be in that lineup. He's going to be in there today. They rested off of it for a couple of days. That seems appropriate. Hopefully Mason Wynn can keep out there and keep healthy because he's such a big part of what they do, particularly defensively. Not to take anything away from him at the plate, but on defense, captain of that infield, when you think about turning double plays and the range that he has. And someone else that doesn't get enough credit on this defense is Burleson. Made a couple of nice scoops last night at first base, had the diving play where he said in the clubhouse last night, I heard JoJo say something from the mound. So I knew that he wasn't going to be at first base. And so Burleson had to, he ends up tagging the runner instead of, sometimes you'll see him dive to the base, but he wasn't going to make it, Andy. So he tags the runner and makes that play. Alec Burleson's playing a really good defensive first base. I don't know what the metrics say about it, but Ollie was raving about it before today's game. He said, whatever those metrics say, we love him. Our metrics say he's great. And I think the eyes say that he's done a really nice job over there as well, giving confidence to a Nolan Gorman, to a Mason Wynn, and a J.J. Weatherholt to go for the plays. Try to make the special play, and I'm going to back you up. If the throw's a little bit sideways, I'm gonna be able to scoop it. That's very valuable for an infield. And it's just that symbiotic relationship, that cohesive energy that this team has. Even if it doesn't have that one strength that they're number one in baseball at, Andy, they do a lot of things pretty darn well right now.
Again, that's a foundation for a team that's going to have a minimum number of wins. Now, that's not going to be enough to get them in the postseason. Like, you do have to play above your head a little bit to be able to grab the games necessary to still be in that spot. But you just know that again, we have not seen very many games at all where the Cardinals are beating themselves. And you can say that last night was an example of it and they still won. So that's pretty impressive. And that's why that it's so easy to attach to the energy of this team, to attach to the youth of this team, for fans to attach to it in a way that they're creating new fans that create new energy in the building that now is being capitalized upon. Like, it's all churning in a very good direction to where even if it doesn't result in the postseason this year, you very clearly see a path to opening a window for postseason chances down the road. So that's the amazing thing about it, is that you can just have fun watching this team now.
As we're sitting here talking, I just had a thought for the first time that made me really uncomfortable, and I don't even know if I'm ready to share it. But
I don't know. Are we ready?
It's a little. Well, here's what I'll say.
Okay.
Mizzou plays at Ole Miss October 17th. And I thought that'd be a fun trip to go and do. That'd be a fun one.
Off the top of your head, I don't even know that.
I'm pretty in tune with the old Tigers, Andy. I don't know if you know this, but
yeah, I understand. Yeah,
I was thinking road trip to Oxford mid-October, and now I'm thinking probably got to hold off because I might be covering the NLCS.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Well, hey, you already have an issue with the A&M game, October 10th, potentially with that too.
No, go further. Go. Actually, this was the thought. I didn't even want to put it out there, but go a week in advance of that. What's a week ahead of that?
Oh, well.
I'm screwed.
Oxford is there.
No, go backward. Go backward 2 weeks from Oxford.
Okay. Florida at home. Yeah.
Homecoming,
man.
I'm not going to be there. I just that was the thought that I wasn't ready to share, but you pulled it out of me. I'm not going to be there because I'm sure there's going to be a playoff game.
There's going to be that they would have to get past the wild card series, right? Still need to do that.
Yeah, I guess is wild card series late September? Is that because the schedule kind of ends a little bit earlier?
I'll make sure that I get this right here. Pull up my calendar. Yeah, season ends.
We're doing my Google Calendar here on the air. Let's just figure this out.
Same here. September 27th is the last Cardinals game. Cardinals at Brewers. Then they play
Sunday
wild card midweek, like
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right?
Yeah. So they would have to get past that.
Okay.
They'd have to be in an LDS scenario for you to be missing any Mizzou football games.
Which super plausible that this Cardinals team could take a 2 out of 3 somewhere. Like, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I'm no longer talking about it in these terms of like, is it good or is this thing? Like you said, they're going to get a minimum number of wins, and now it's a question of, just how frequently can they keep doing what they're doing. But they're a good team. Like, they're not going to. The bottom is not going to drop out of this and have them lose 90. Can we agree with that?
I hope I will agree with that. And
that would surprise me at this point.
We would be shocked by it for sure. Yeah.
And look, what happens on August the 3rd, because the trade deadline's a little later this year, what happens August the 3rd between now and then will be informative, because they weren't probably coming into the season thinking that they were going to be holding on to guys like JoJo Romero or probably Lars Nootbaar or probably even Riley O'Brien. Like, you're just going to start getting assets, right? But that's not where they're at now. And so if they keep on the current trajectory, there's no way that you can treat the deadline the same as you were thinking you might in, mid-March. And by you, I just mean like the front office and the way they're building the team. But they've said since the beginning of spring training, and I wasn't there this year for the first time in a long time, but from everything that's been said about spring training, this was established there for this Cardinals team. And they believed back then that they were a good ball club, and now we're all just kind of watching it unfold. I don't think anybody in that clubhouse is extremely surprised by the way things are going. I don't think anybody had Tarps Off on their bingo card, but generally speaking, I think this team, they've said it, like they've been pretty consistent in sharing that, look, man, we saw what we were building from the start, and we're just continuing to chase that every day, and so far so good.
It has looked very good so far for the Cardinals, so we'll see how much longer it can last into the summer. Tarps Off is, the guys that got it started are off going their merry way now, but how much can it continue on at Busch Stadium this year? 875-5847 here on The Big Shows. The Cardinals are 9 games above 500. If they win tonight, oh my gosh, 10 games above 500 by the end of May is, I don't care if it's early. It's still kind of early, but that's still very impressive. Not very many teams are in that spot right now. So it's just, if you win that and then all of a sudden, like you could potentially have, if you sweep this series, you could have a divisional tiebreaker on a team before the end of May. But that is also on the table too. If they sweep the Pirates again, now I don't know if I would guess them to do it. I think they can win tonight.
I think they're gonna put up some runs tonight. I think they got a lot of lefties in the lineup. That's usually happening for a reason when they really stack the box that way. platoon-wise. So they're going to come after this starter and see what they can do against Mudzinski or whatever his name is, something like that.
Yeah, however you say it. You got the mechanism right, but yeah, I have no idea how you pronounce it. Yeah, I would think that they can do well tonight and McGreevy can settle things down. Who knows on getaway day tomorrow? I mean, Dustin May can still pitch well, but Ashcraft has looked pretty solid as well for Pittsburgh to start out. So we'll see how it all looks from the Cardinals' perspective there. Call or text us. But Cardinal fans, this energy is continuing on. And how long can it continue for this team as they yet again have a walk-off win last night? This time propelled by the home run ball of Ivan Herrera with the walk-off. 875-KTGR if you want to weigh in. We're going to talk more with Brendan from Busch Stadium a little later on, but up next, I was joined by some friends from the Columbia Convention and Visitors Bureau. They're here to talk to us about what they're doing to try and keep the MSHSAA basketball and wrestling championships in Columbia. So they're going to join us in studio coming up next on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company, coming out of the really cold weather periods, and you're thinking about the road trips that you want to take this spring and summer. Don't forget about checking up on your tires, though. Make sure that they are in good shape for those long road trips, and head into Lee's Tire Company because they're the tire experts. They've got a huge selection, and they have so many ways to give you money back in your pocket whenever you buy new tires, including this month when they give you $140 back on select sets of 4 Cooper tires or $180 back on select Goodyear tires. There are so many other deals that they run each and every month. You can find them at leestirecompany.com. You can also go there to browse their full selection, put your specs in, see what they've got available to you, and then head into Lee's Tire Company on the Business Loop in Columbia or at University Garage by the MU campus or their location in Centralia. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com.
Time is almost up. There are only 10 spots left for the Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel 9-day European Christmas vacation. And once they're gone, well, they're gone. Picture yourself walking historic streets, taking in breathtaking views, and experiencing Europe the way you've always dreamed about. These final spots are going fast, so don't spend another year saying, maybe next time. Because next time may just never happen. Save up to $350 when you book before June 7th. But you better hurry. Reserve your spot today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
It started with something small, bubbling paint, buckling wood. A few days later, you frowned at the sight of a few faint lines in the wood. There was the window frame incident, too. You knocked on it, and when you did, you got a weak, empty thud. Then you saw the first one, a termite, tiny, pale, and very much at home. The more you searched, the worse it got. That's when you called Steve's Pest Control. Steve and his team didn't just treat the problem, they hunted it down. And because they were local, they knew all about Missouri termites, their habits, their hiding spots, their weaknesses. Now, the only thing in your home with an appetite that big is your 2 teenagers. Steve's will make sure that your floors are solid, your walls are safe, and that those nasty, wood-craving little lunatics never attack your home again.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
You're gonna learn guitar, gonna remodel the bathroom, gonna start gaming again. You're also gonna spend way too much money. If you're a wannabe hobbyist, get some help at Family Pawn. You'll save big on instruments, gaming consoles, tools, or, whatever you're into right now. If and when it doesn't work out, just sell it back and wait for your next great idea. Visit FamilyPawn.com.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
When people visit your place of business, everyone has a great time. You're giving families and friends a way to break up the boredom and have some fun together. Now you just need more people to enjoy what you have to offer. That's where ShopMidmo.com comes in. When you're part of ShopMidmo.com, thousands of potential customers will see your offers, helping you build your exposure. ShopMidmo.com is a great tool to give your business and fun experiences a jumpstart. Contact us today to find out more at ShopMidmo.com.
ShopMidmo.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Back here on the big show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy Humphrey here. Pleased to be joined by some special guests today on the big show from the Columbia Convention and Visitors Bureau, and specifically with the Columbia Sports Commission, who are making an effort to keep MSHSAA championship events for basketball and for wrestling at Mizzou Arena here in Columbia. And pleased to be joined by Adam Ziervogel and Megan McConaughey from the CVB here in Columbia. Thanks so much for coming in. Megan, let's start with you. Just how have you how has your group kind of been putting together some of the work to keep MSHSAA events here in Columbia?
Sure. So this is definitely a community-wide team effort. So it, of course, requires a lot of work with our partners over at Mizzou Athletics. So they, of course, have the facilities that we need in order to retain these championships. And then we have partners across the community who contribute support, who help us really build out strong proposals for these events.
Yeah, and it takes, I'm sure, a huge team effort at the same time. Adam, there's so many different avenues that you have to reach to be able to put together a competitive bid for it. So how long does this process kind of take usually to have it all come together?
So traditionally we have anywhere from, it really depends, on the proposal and the timeline, but I would say this proposal specifically, we've had, a 3-month process. We've known it was coming for a good amount of time. So we're doing some stuff in the background just to kind of get ready, having, some meetings to just make sure, we had all of our ducks in a row, so to speak. And when the bids were out, we could, kind of hit the ground running and get to work immediately. So
for sure. And this works on a 3-year cycle, or is it a little bit longer term? How does MSHSAA kind of issue these out?
So they'll be moving forward to a 3-year bid cycle where now they have all of their championships lined up on the same timeline. To do that, they're trying to get venues secured through 2031. The next RFP process will be released in, we think 2029 now. So this process, extending basketball mainly and boys and girls wrestling, for basketball begin in 2028, 29, 2030, and 2031, and then wrestling, boys and girls wrestling separated out 2030 and 2031.
For sure. Talking with Adam Ziervogel and Megan McConaughey with the Columbia Convention and Visitors Bureau. Megan, having specifically basketball and wrestling can be pretty valuable too, considering the length of time that those events take to have the championships all play out at Mizzou Arena. What impact have you seen that have on local businesses, restaurants, hotels, things like that?
Absolutely. So I always say when we have visitors here in our community, they are going to stay in our hotels, dine in our restaurants, shop in our stores, fill their cars up with gas. And that, of course, has a really powerful direct economic impact on all of those businesses here in our community that we get to enjoy year round. And then also it helps establish Columbia as a destination that is welcoming, that has outstanding events. And so that's a reputation that actually carries us throughout the year as well. So there's that direct impact when they're here, and then that lasting kind of reputational impact that we really benefit from.
Yeah, because they are familiar with coming to Columbia years and years. I'm curious, have either of you gotten feedback on how coaches and parents and even players have liked being able to come here to Columbia for these events?
Well, we've had basketball and wrestling here, basketball with a small gap for a very long time. And we know that players, families, coaches, to them, it is extremely special to get to play at University of Missouri facilities. It is meaningful. It is a lifetime memory that they get to take with them when they're playing at the home of the Missouri Tigers. And I think that kind of emotional impact is something that really goes a long way.
For sure. Adam, when you put together bids like this, I mean, most years you'll expect to get competition from other cities. So how do you then start to really beef up the bid for Columbia and sell, again, like kind of what Megan was talking about, just the angle that Mizzou brings to this event as well?
So we do think Megan does things a lot from a marketing and support standpoint, and like what we can do, to help market the event and kind of get the word out, or things that we've done for basketball in the past and wrestling, with billboards along I-70 and 63, some digital activation there, kind of a welcome to Columbia. We've done targeted social media ads, in the past, to the qualifying communities. That way, it's kind of, it can help drive maybe more ticket sales to the event, which is it's good from Michigan's standpoint, it's good from our standpoint, more visitors in the community, and then what we can do to kind of help take care of some costs, whether it's support from the community, or what we can do in our CVB budget and some funds that we have allocated for direct event support. So like, I think one of the things that we did was we helped take care of some hospitality costs in the past. So I mean, obviously looking at that, if there's an additional cost for parking, obviously the footprint of the event is huge, with all the school buses and visitors. What can we do to help minimize that cost that might be additionally incurred?
For sure. Adam Ziervogel and Megan McConaughey with the Columbia CVB here on the Big Show KTGR, talking about Columbia's bid for keeping MSHSAA basketball and wrestling championships at Mizzou Arena. So, Adam, how can people get involved with this to help out in this effort, not even just from what your work entails, but also how other people can get involved?
So there are two ways that we can, take community support. If, you're maybe, a restaurant or something, and you want to provide, something in kind that we can use to help offset, any hospitality costs, that's appreciated. But then, with support dollars. So we have, some promotional and advertising tiers that we're offering to, potential supporters through the Community Foundation of Central Missouri. So it provides a little bit of a tax incentive right there. But then if they want, some activation inside the event at Mizzou Arena, to reach, maybe some spectators, where obviously we can include, some packages that MSHSAA has put together, kind of contingent on the event being here with, some supporters, if that's more up someone's avenue.
Megan, what's the kind of the timetable with it? How you maybe expect to hear back, or when this does get selected?
Sure. So the deadline is coming up. The bids will be presented in early June. So we are crossing our T's and dotting all of our I's. Poor Adam's waiting for me to write my part of the bid. So I think really it's all of those puzzle pieces are finally coming together to show us the final picture that we'll be able to present to MSHSAA. And so then they will work with their board to make their final decision.
Well, again, the Columbia CVB putting together a bid to keep MSHSAA basketball and wrestling championships in Columbia at Mizzou Arena. Anything else that you would like to add that you want folks to know about the work you're doing?
I think just that these are really legacy events and really hallmark events for our community. We are so proud of the work that we do in hosting them, and we know that fans and teams love to travel here, and it is a community-wide effort to make that happen. And so we are inviting you to support us in any way that you can, and we are excited to put together the strongest proposal possible.
For sure. Adam?
I would say something else to note. I mean, obviously we're familiar with, girls wrestling and the tremendous growth that it's had in the state since I believe it was implemented, on its own, I think in 2018 or 2019. But this next year, in 2027, will be the first year that girls wrestling has its own championship at the Hearn Center. So really fortunate that, Mizzou has been willing to work with, MSHSAA to help make that happen. It's a tremendous undertaking to get alone, one weekend during, peak basketball and peak, winter sports season on campus at Mizzou. So really fortunate to have that. But then, moving forward with all the proposals, they'll be treated as two separate bids. So there is a little bit of a change going on with wrestling. But that's kind of the biggest thing to highlight. And we couldn't do what we do without, the support of our hotel community and how they step up for these events, as well as, various community members that have been involved in the past. And then, the support of our sports commission and our CVB advisory board members as well.
For sure. And just one more time, if folks want to get involved, how can they do that? Who can they reach out to?
They can contact me or anyone else at the CVB, our director, Amy Schneider, as well. I can be reached at 573-842-8255. 874-7684 or at adam.ziervogel@como.gov.
For sure. Great to chat with Adam Ziervogel and Megan McConaughey of the Columbia Convention and Visitors Bureau as they work to keep basketball and wrestling high school championships in Columbia for the foreseeable future. That bid being submitted very soon. Great to have both of you here on the big show. And thanks again for coming on, talking a little bit about it, and good luck with the bid and everything else.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Next show's on at 4:41 KTGR and the KTGR app, and we'll see how all that goes. Certainly interesting to see kind of the ins and outs of how it goes, what goes into a bid for it. But certainly it has been cool to see Columbia get basketball back for the last few years, and also wrestling's been here, I think, forever, pretty much. But we'll see what that process looks like going forward for those folks putting together that bid, and how that goes down the line. Call or text us here, 573-875-KTGR here on the big show if you want to chime in, talk some Cardinals with us. We're going to have some Chiefs talk about the Rashee Rice problem coming up at 5:05, some college football playoff talk as well, but we're going to go onto the bus next to, an unfortunate fantasy football punishment for a Royals fan last night that everybody in the building got to see. That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening, I'm Natalie Touche, and this live local sports center update is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Mizzou baseball dropped its second round game of the SEC tournament 12-2 to number 16 Mississippi State in 7 innings this morning in Hoover, Alabama. The Bulldogs smacked 8 runs in the bottom of the 6th to put the run rule into effect. The Tigers finished the season with 8 more wins overall and doubled their amount of SEC wins from 2025, in addition to earning their first SEC tournament win since 2017. The St. Louis Cardinals opened their series against the Pittsburgh Pirates in walk-off fashion, winning 9-6 last night. Ivan Herrera played hero with the walk-off 3-run homer in the 10th to seal the deal. Cards return to action tonight with pregame starting at 5:50 and first pitch at 6:45 right here on KTGR Radio, so make sure to stick around. Kansas City Royals fall short in the series with the Boston Red Sox by a final score of 7-1 last night. The Royals look to eliminate a sweep from the Red Sox tonight with a game start of 6:40. Up next is your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast, brought to you by Steve's Pest Control, reminding you that it's termite swarm season. And if you see black-bodied long-winged insects, you might be having a swarm. Call Steve's Pest Control today for a no-cost evaluation or visit stevespestcontrol.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mostly cloudy skies as we drop down into the low 50s overnight. We're looking at a cool day. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with high temperatures in the upper 60s. We'll have a chance for a few showers in the evening with a better shot at rain and storms on Friday, as we'll see morning temperatures in the 50s, only warming up into the upper 60s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Midway Electric presents the High School Sports Power Player of the Week.
This week features Hickman Junior track athlete John Moss. Last week, John captured the individual district title in the 200 and 400 meter races and helped the Cupies to a third place finish in the 4x400 meter relay. John will look to qualify for state in the sectional meet this weekend.
That's the Power Player of the Week with Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
The 10th pick in tonight's Little League draft is Jackson Miller.
Nice pickup. Big arm, big swing, runs like his big brother is going to kill him. Next is Owen Bradley, big glue guy in the dugout, still eating glue in art class. Ben Thompson, he's still on the board. Great attitude, strong lungs. Most teams have him pegged for debate or possibly pep band.
Not every kid is a first-round pick, but at Play It Again Sports, every kid can play like one. Think of them first so you don't finish last. PlayItAgainSportsColumbiaMo.com.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection.
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
This August 4th and 5th, join former Missouri Tiger football players Drell Jackson and myself, Michael Agnew, at our API football camp. We're not just building football skills, we're building leaders. Over 3 days, we'll dive into deep technique, strategy, and leadership development. You'll work side by side with me and all of our coaches to bring out our best on the field and in life. Whether you're chasing that starting position or learning how to lead, this camp is for you. Spots are limited, so sign up now at apiprojectfitness.com. Let's grow your game and your leadership.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. One of our early claims we had to make, unfortunately, was from a hailstorm. And as soon as that first hail hit our house, I texted Phyllis and I said, oh boy, we're in trouble. Phyllis walked us through everything, made everything very seamless. Phyllis made it so easy. Her team followed up, checked in, and really went to bat for us. When things weren't moving properly, she would make sure that everything was accounted for, and she really just did an above and beyond job for us and everyone we referred her to.
Bottom of the ninth, game on the line. Here's the pitch.
What? Oh no, we're gonna miss the end of the game.
It's those nasty storms again.
Come on, honey, don't blame it on the storms.
What do you mean?
I told you to call Midway Electric to get us that backup generator. Now can you please call them so we don't miss another big play?
Don't let spring storms get in the way of baseball season. Let Midway Electric keep your power on no matter the weather.
Yeah!
Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
So there was a very visible fantasy football bet that was being paid off, seemingly, at the Royals game last night. This one guy, way up in the cheap seats, 400 section, whatever you want to call it, who is by himself, and he's sitting very sad, because there's nothing but empty seats around him, and inside the empty seats are a bunch of white placards that spell out the words, "I stink at fantasy football." So you obviously know what that was. It's a guy who probably finished last in the league and was paying off the bet. But here's actually what I'm going to throw under the bus to. Guys, come up with a better punishment. I would be just fine with this punishment. I get to go to a baseball game by myself, get my own section, and the only humiliating thing about it is that there's a bunch of signs around that people may or may not be able to read depending on where they're sitting. And they've got, and the people who do read it say, oh, yeah, he's just paying off a fantasy football bet. But all I'm going to do, if I'm in that position just sitting there, I'm just going to sit and enjoy the game. Thanks, guys, for letting me come to this baseball game and enjoy it for my own leisure, even though I have to look sad doing it and sit within all of these signs. I don't know. Doesn't seem like much of a punishment to me. So I'm not even throwing the Royals fan under the bus, assuming he is a Royals fan. Maybe he isn't. I don't know. Maybe that was part of the punishment. But I'm not throwing him under. His own league mates threw him under. I'm throwing whoever came up with the punishment in the league, saying, no, come on, let's do better than this.
Under the bus.
Let's have a better punishment than that. I think just going to a baseball game. I'd love to go to those. That's not a bad thing. I know the Royals are blah this year. But hey, baseball is baseball. I'm sure that guy had a ton of fun. Under the bus to Vandy baseball pitcher Connor Fennell, who got some instant baseball karma, it seemed, during the SEC tournament yesterday. Vandy taking on Kentucky. I believe it was Carson Hansen at the plate for Kentucky. And Connor Fennell here he's trying to fire himself up, clearly. And the hot mic was picking it up. There were some swear words in there. He was trying to like trash talk essentially the hitter that he's throwing pitches to while on the mound. And like the first pitch, he throws a high fastball, if you want to call it that, at 89, if that's where his fastball is at. Cool. But after he gets like kind of he gets the hitter to go around and he's like firing up even more. He's like, yeah, you're bleeping mine, man. Like, yeah, come on. And then very next pitch, hitter hits it out of the park right away. The guy who is pumping himself up, saying that he's all that, saying you're mine because you just swung at my 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Buddy, maybe you needed to go do your secondary stuff a little bit and not leave that out over the plate. Just a thought. And maybe don't, tell the hitter you're mine until, you've actually gotten him, like first strike 3 or something like that. So Connor Fennell,
Under the bus.
I know Mizzou got that guy too when he came to Columbia a little bit. He was not. I think he pitched on Friday and was part of the effort in helping the Tigers come back and win that game. Thanks, Connor. And under the bus to the NFL. I seemed that there was a tip to this last week when Mike North, who was in charge of the scheduling, he hinted at this earlier in an interview as the NFL schedule was coming out. But this, I can't get on board with this. The NFL essentially is saying, hey, we can take any game and throw it overseas. Any game at all. At first, they allowed teams to protect home games that they had on their schedule and say, no, don't touch these. You can take the other ones if you want to, but we want these games to stay in our home building. They used to be able to protect 4 or 5 of them per year. The NFL a few years ago whittled that down to just 2 games that you could protect. But now you can't protect any of them. Oh, and by the way, they're expanding the international schedule from 8 games to 10 games. Why do you want to take the best product and put it overseas? I don't understand that. Have those in the home venues where the atmosphere can be at its peak for your peak regular season games. I don't know why the NFL feels the need to end these protections when they have so many more to choose from, 15 games, in fact, per team that they can go and pick out. Like, come on, what are we doing here? This is just not at all
Under the bus.
the way that this league should be treating this. I get it. The international games are fun, and it's okay that you go to Spain and to France and Brazil and wherever to play football. Like, that's fine. But now it's turning into a point where the NFL needs to think about, or at least have the option on the table, to throw Chiefs Bills in London or Germany or whatever it is. No, I'm not here for that. That should never, ever, ever, ever be the case.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
Well, this was really sweet. We heard from Ahmad Hardy from the first time since that horrible shooting in Mississippi where he suffered a gunshot wound in his upper leg. He's been recovering in the hospital and rehabbing ever since, but Mizzou Athletics put out a short little social media message from Ahmad Hardy. He was on video, selfie mode, just saying, hey, I'm on the road to recovery. I'm on the path back to success is what he called it. And said, thanks for all the love and support and everything like that. But man, that was really cool to see from Ahmad Hardy to be able to at least say a few words to the folks who have been reaching out and hoping that everything goes well with his recovery from a horrible situation back in his home state. It's good to see him back in Columbia. He's out of the hospital and trying to rehab to see if he can play this year. Again, we don't know the answer to that. Eli Drinkwitz has indicated that maybe we'll know more about that answer in a few weeks. But in the end, that was really sweet to see. And good on Mizzou Athletics for allowing Ahmad Hardy a chance to just say a few thank you words and let everyone know how he's doing straight from the man himself. So good on Mizzou Athletics for getting that done. And we'll see whether we hear more answers about Ahmad Hardy here in the next few weeks. Call or text us 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. Also very sweet, the Tarps Off movement is continuing on to the Springfield Cardinals. They're going to have a Tarps Off day next Tuesday. That's going to be pretty cool. And then all the other Major League Baseball teams that are following the Cardinals' lead on something like this. Now, look, it happened, yes, at college football games before, but this really the first real traction it's gotten in the sport of baseball, and certainly in Major League Baseball. So Cardinals have been setting that trend, and we'll see how long it continues. We'll discuss next the Chiefs and whether their need for a free agent wide receiver that's still available out there just escalated with the Rashee Rice problem. And yes, it is a problem that they have on their hands. We'll discuss that next on The Big Show, KTGR.
Your yes matters. It matters to the mom waiting for a lung, the child hoping for a kidney, the grandfather praying for a new heart.
Because someone said yes, I got a second chance.
People are stepping up, making the choice that saves lives. Your yes can change everything.
Say yes today. Join the Missouri Donor Registry at donatelifemissouri.org. donatelifemissouri.org. Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sticklin-McDonald.
And I'm Charlie Sticklin with the Sticklin & Sticklin Law Firm.
And I'm Mizzou Softball's Natalie Touche. At Sticklin & Sticklin, all we do is personal injury.
We've earned millions for our clients since 1991.
On the diamond, I trust my team. Off the diamond, I trust Sticklin & Sticklin. Don't let the insurance companies strike you out. Let Sticklin & Sticklin go to bat for you. Sticklin & Sticklin, it's a home run.
Hello, my name is Clay with Zimmer Communications. This is a career as opposed to a job because the longer you're here, the more successful that you're going to be. Everybody says in sales you have unlimited potential for growth, which that is true, but that doesn't happen overnight. And that's what I like about this job. Whenever your clients are successful, you're successful. If you're looking for a career rather than just a job, I would 100% recommend coming and checking out Zimmer Communications.
If you think you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering. And with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Thunder seeks to even up the NBA's Western Conference Finals at a game apiece in Game 2 tonight versus the Spurs, 8 Eastern ESPN Radio. After Victor Wembanyama's incredible performance in the Game 1 win, some tweaks for OKC's game plan tonight, notes ESPN NBA reporter Tim McMahon.
Look, they've got to move players. They've got to move their bodies. They've got to move the ball. They've got to make Victor Wembanyama move. Jed Holman said the answer is going to be in the movement, because if you just let Wemby plant himself near the paint, he's basically shutting down the floor from the elbows down. You're not going to be able to finish over him.
New Mavericks president Masai Ujiri said removing coach Jason Kidd was a difficult decision and was his alone. Avalanche defenseman Cale Makar will miss the NHL's West Final opener versus the Golden Knights tonight. He's dealing with multiple injuries, 8 Eastern on ESPN. The Sabres signed coach Lindy Ruff to a 2-year extension. Under Ruff, Buffalo ended a 14-season playoff drought this year. Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers telling reporters that he will retire after the 2026 NFL season, which will be his 22nd in the league.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today.
From Faro,
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush,
back to the wall, and it's got her.
and Arrowhead.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Second hour, thanks for hopping in. Andy here. Brendan should be joining us once again from Busch Stadium in just a little bit. We get set for Cardinals Pirates. By the way, if you want to hear our full show, be listening on the KTGR app at KTGR.com, as well as on YouTube and on Facebook, as Cardinals coverage will come on at 5:50 on the radio. In the meantime, we'll talk some Chiefs coming up. They have a Rashee Rice problem, officially. So we're going to talk about that and whether that means they need now to go out into the free agent market and get another veteran wide receiver. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Tony Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, continuing to stump for 24 teams and why he thinks 16 teams would not work, but I think his logic is very, very flawed when it comes to that. 5:25, we will discuss. But first, before any of that, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Cardinals Tarps Off Energy continues on, at least for one more night. Last night, Ivan Herrera, the 3-run homer in the 10th inning to walk it off against the Pirates. Cardinals win 9-6. Now, look, those guys from SFA Club Baseball, we had them on the show yesterday. They're leaving town. They're not necessarily going to be here every single home game all of a sudden, but the Cardinals are leaning in. They're creating a section out in the outfield where you can go there, even if your tickets aren't even ticketed for that section. You can just go there and be part of the Tarps Off crew. Sure, it's optional. So if you're at Busch Stadium at any time, seems that you'll get a chance to go and do that later on this season if you're heading out to Busch Stadium. Cardinals take on the Pirates again tonight. We'll see if they can take the series once again, 6:45, first pitch.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
This came out yesterday. We didn't have a chance to get to it, but Mizzou basketball finalized its coaching staff, it appears. Dennis Gates adding some more assistants. I guess there's no limit to the number of assistants you can have. He added Tavares Hardy, who's a former head coach at Loyola of Maryland. Jimmy Foster coming over from Colorado State. The two notable ones, though, Jason Crow Sr. and Zach Reynolds. Of course, Jason Crow Sr., the father of Jason Crow Jr. and his former head coach in high school. Zach Reynolds, the former high school head coach for Tony Bryant, the other 5-star recruit the Mizzou is adding. Yeah, there's a prior connection. People maybe give a side eye to that, but look, it happens a lot more than you think, not just at Mizzou. Get those guys in the room, and even if you have to give out head or assistant coaching positions, so be it.
Number 3.
Royals keep on losing. If they lose again tonight to the Red Sox, they'll be swept, and they'll be 10 games under 500 all of a sudden at 20-30. Like, look, it needs to turn around quickly, even in a weak division, for them to actually be contending for said division. Chance to get off the mat tonight, but things are getting bad really fast over in Kansas City baseball land.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
And not that much better in the Kansas City football land either, especially the Rashee Rice news that now he has to serve 30 days in jail, has to miss OTAs, has to miss mandatory minicamp. And also, he had knee surgery last week, according to Adam Schefter. So he's sitting in a jail cell, and he can't rehab that knee after a procedure that takes 2 months to come back from with all the medical care you need. Yeah, this is a problem, and we're going to address it at 5:05.
Number 5.
What is the foul? Fingers, say to the face, slap.
Yeah, the Mizzou baseball magic lasted only one day in Hoover. Now the season done after they were run ruled today.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Call or text us 573-875-KTGR here on the Big Show. Yeah, I mean, it was a similar type of test. They were going up against Mississippi State, who is only one seed ahead of Ole Miss in the standings and one spot ahead of them in the top 25. Pretty similar team. But look, whenever you go to the SEC tournament and you have to expend a whole lot of arms to get through even just one game, which Mizzou had to do yesterday, and that puts you behind the 8 ball when you go up against a team that is fully rested, has all their pitchers available, and, well, you kind of see the result. And then it steamrolled, or it snowballed, I should say, on Mizzou in that 6th inning where Mississippi State scored 8 runs, won it 12-2 in a run rule, and, well, that's how the Mizzou baseball season comes to an end. And look, it was, by record, better than the last couple of years. Should acknowledge that. I am very intrigued by some of these young players that Mizzou does have in their lineup. Blaze Ward is pretty special. That was a huge snub, if you ask me, for the SEC all-freshman team. Blaze Ward was not on it, despite winning SEC Freshman of the Week twice this season. So I'm not necessarily sure that was the right move to leave him off that list. But again, I didn't see all of the stat lines of the 12 guys that did make it. Just thought, 12 guys, seems Blaze Ward was deserving of that. But look, Mizzou baseball, it's still not where anyone wants it to be. And we know what the actual issue is, and it goes beyond the head coach. It's the support the program gets relative to its peers in the SEC. We've been over that many, many times here on this show, but we'll see what decisions are made. We don't know, but in the end, sure, it'll be all up to Laird Veach, and we'll see what the future holds for whoever is sticking around with Mizzou baseball, and that also includes players. We'll see who else sticks around there, because the transfer portal has, at times, been taking away some of the key players from this program for several years now. So we'll just see how it all lands. Mizzou baseball is a little better this year, but as far as the full picture, the full scope, not at all where anybody wants it to be, of course. So we'll see what happens. Call or text us 875-KTGR if you want to weigh in on Mizzou baseball and Cardinals baseball, Royals baseball. Those teams going in opposite directions at the moment. And we'll see how that all goes. Brendan's back from Busch Stadium. Hi, Brendan. As we get set for Cardinals baseball, coverage will begin in about 40 minutes on KTGR radio waves. If you have Mizzou baseball thoughts, you can give them, but let's talk Rashee Rice, though, Brendan. I mean,
let's do that instead. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. So he's sitting in a jail cell with a knee that was operated on last week. Just a cleanup procedure. Usually that's pretty routine for an off season, and you can come back in a couple of months after that. But that's assuming that you have the full access of your medical team and your training staff and the team facilities and everything like that. Guess what? For the next few weeks or so, Rashee Rice does not have that. So I question whether he's going to be back in a couple of months. I would think that timeline should start once he exits jail. And that would take you into mid-August, deep into training camp.
I don't see what the big deal is. He could do some pull-ups off the top bunk and,
but that's
stay
not
strong. No, it's not. It's really not.
No.
This guy sucks, man. This is a dumb person. Yeah. Like, what are you doing, Rashee Rice? What are you doing in a contract year, by the way, not just like from the Chiefs standpoint, but for your own well-being and future and earning potential? What is wrong with you? And you might say, and I've seen some people say, well, Brendan, he was popped for marijuana. Like, that's not a big deal. Fine. If it's in your contract at your job that you can do it, then go for it.
Yeah.
But his situation is such that he's got to be minding his P's and Q's right now, Andy. It's just obvious stuff that he still cannot seem to grasp. I don't care what the rule is that he broke. I don't care if you think it's a dumb rule. You just have to follow the dumb rules right now if you're Rashee Rice, and he couldn't even do that.
And look, whether it's fair or not, it's still illegal in Texas. He was in Texas when he did. So they're going to still pop that, and clearly that's going to be part of probationary guidelines. No, you can't be on this. You can't test positive for this stuff. Follow the rules. At least spend a little bit of time walking the straight and narrow.
Do the bare minimum.
You can't trust him anymore. You can't. I don't know.
He's a doofus. I'm totally. I find him to be irredeemable in terms of, if I'm a football team like the Chiefs, having grand expectations for him. I can't anymore. This is my last straw. I hope he comes back healthy and plays good when he can this year. If that's at the beginning of the season, if that's a few weeks in, whatever it is, he's a mercenary on my team because he can hit the bricks the moment that he is free agent eligible. I'm just done. Like, does it make more sense to recoup some trade value if you can? Yeah, but 31 other teams see what a doofus he is too. So I don't know, man. It's not right maybe to have this reaction about something so minor and common in our present society today. It's not the specific thing he got in trouble for doing this time. It's the fact that you're in an agreement that you agreed to that states if you do these actions, any of these actions, you're going to jail for 30 days. So just avoid these actions for a little while and then go on your merry way. That's a super simple, that's an easy instruction to follow. If it's that serious, dude, I don't want to spend 30 days in jail. It's not my preference. So if I had a situation where I was told, this is what you got to do to avoid that, man, you just got to do that stuff. And he can't, this is not even a football thing. This is is your head on straight young man thing with Rashee Rice. So, yeah, no contract from the Chiefs. I'm not even thinking about him as a long-term. Before, Andy, it was, hey, maybe if he's healthy and plays well, do you think about if he keeps in check with the personal stuff, do you think about making him a long-term guy on your team? I just have no interest in it anymore. And that's tricky because I don't know if Xavier Worthy is that guy either. But
no.
Rashee Rice is he is irredeemable. I think he's unfixable from a bonehead standpoint. He's got a bonehead. And it is what it is at this point. It's done.
Because it's not just the marijuana thing. It's the pattern. It's the trend.
It's the pattern.
It's what we should come to expect from a guy like this now, because he's not serving 30 days in jail for marijuana. He's serving 30 days in jail because he almost killed people on a Dallas highway. Very easily could have killed himself, could have killed some people in his car, could have killed absolute strangers in the other car, and then didn't bother to check to see if anyone was okay, just left the scene. That's what he's serving 30 days for. It's just the marijuana thing means that he has to serve it now. He doesn't get to choose when he serves it.
Yeah, your agreement is no longer in action because you violated the terms of it. So that's just simple stuff. And so that's why I don't want anybody to say, wow, Brendan's a real, what a square. No, this isn't about anybody else that may have an inclination to participate in that. This is about Rashee Rice having a set of rules for his agreement that he agreed to, and then going, nah, that's not really for me though. And knowing you're going to be tested, this is it's just like a simple IQ test, and he failed, as he continues to do every single time. It is uncanny just how bad this guy is at the simplest of instructions. I can't anymore.
Right, because it's all been handed to him. What he did in that crash incident can put people away for years. And he gets 30 days and probation, and you can have this expunged from your record as long as you get through this 5 years and you don't screw up. And even yet, we don't know what other situations he was actually involved in that he's getting away with. Just the domestic violence thing and the incident at the bar when he was awaiting the sentence. And it seems that at every turn he has lucked out more so than maybe other people would that are not in his position as a professional football player. And he has squandered that. And even then, he might still not have, because another NFL team might give him a chance anyway. But the Chiefs should not be the one that does that. You have enough info on this guy. and you just cannot predict his future actions anymore. So after this year, need to be done at the very longest. Like, you can let him play, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what
You need him. You need his production this year because you didn't plan for him to not be there, right? You thought this could be a year where you get him back and hopefully 100%. But you can't, like, if you're Brett Veach, long-term planning, he's not involved in any capacity, in my opinion. He just, like, this was that final straw for me where it's like, if you can't even be expected after everything that Andy has mentioned, where it's hard because I'm not going to come out and say a guy did something when he was never charged with it, was never whatever. Like, is that good lawyers, or is that he didn't do anything wrong and he's just always in the wrong place at the wrong time? Like, I'm not going to be the guy getting sued for saying otherwise because I don't know anything about the situations. But I do know he seems to be involved in a lot of them. And so this was the one for me where it's like, dude, you just come on. This is simple stuff, and I get it. You want to be young and have fun in your off season, but like, you have made decisions and behaved in such a way that, like, you can't do the fun stuff that your buddies are doing because you've got a different set of rules that you have created for yourself as a result of your own actions. And you can't even figure that out. It's crazy.
Well, look, there was already a conversation of, like, do the Chiefs have enough at wide receiver, even with Rashee Rice available and healthy and presumably ready to go? But now, like, again, it's a real, I don't know if he's ready week 1. I really don't know. Like, just health-wise, I think this is a huge, huge blow to his rehab process that will make it take a lot longer than it should. And I have my doubts that he will be ready.
Andy, I'm just imagining, like, the Chiefs have to send him a letter in the mail to spell out his rehab
exercises.
Like the athletic trainer is putting a stamp on an envelope.
No, he's listening. He's talking through the phone in the glass. Like, hey, buddy.
He's like, so 10 times, 3 sets of 10, and then you want to rest. Like, what are we doing here, man? Yeah. It's gotten to just an outrageous point for me. It's just like, I mean, all you could do is laugh. It's not funny, but because the Chiefs are in a bit of a bind because of it. But I'll tell you what, they've been around this guy, like, internally. Were they just stunned to their core by this one? No, they weren't. Yeah. They weren't shocked because they've been around him. They know, they kind of know what to expect by now. So I think the rehab part of it is the concern. Can they make sure he's getting not the attention he needs? Because he's, like, again, he's not going to have the trainers and everybody but the communication with him, can they tell him what they feel he needs to know? But you're right. Like, it's going to just be, I think it's happening at a time of the summer where it's like, it might still be okay, but it's the final straw for me on, like, having any expectations for him. And by the way, you don't care about this part, but I'll say it anyway. Fantasy football off my board this year. Like, I'm not messing around with this guy. I just don't know how you could unless it's a 10th round. Like, no thanks. I'll find some other headache to deal with because he's a good player, but no thanks. If I'm a fantasy football player, I just can't with him anymore. No, thank you.
The ADP is going to take a hit for sure. But
yeah, if it's a double-digit round, maybe, but otherwise, just forget it. I'm not chasing that anymore.
Those are the only folks out there that are like that maybe are on the side of, like, Rashee Rice, like, oh, I want to hold out hope because maybe he can drop to me in my fantasy football.
Sure, yeah, maybe.
And that's great. Like, whatever. But everyone else who is in the room of the Chiefs is like, buddy, you can't do this. We can no longer predict your actions. Even when we go on record, even when Andy Reid goes on radio and says, this guy knows what he needs to do and everything like that. And you still can't be 100% sure that he's going to do what he needs to do. So, yeah, at this point, play out this year. That's fine. You don't need to trade him. Like, have him on your team. I don't know how motivated he'll be to play for your team specifically, because maybe he would already know that he's on the outs and he's going to have to find another place to go, but he would still, I'm sure, have some motivation to play well individually so that he can market that to other teams and say, hey, I'm still an excellent football player. I am still worth this type of money, as much as the off the field stuff is yelling that he isn't. But in the Chiefs' perspective, like, yes, go out and get Tyreek Hill. I don't care anymore. Get him. Like, yeah.
Now, wait a minute.
By bringing Tyreek Hill on the team, or Deebo Samuel, or Stephon Diggs, or somebody out there.
Is Deebo out there?
I think so.
Really?
I don't think anybody's signed him yet.
Okay. Well, I'd be down for that if that's true. I haven't really been that locked in on it yet. I'll say this about the Tyreek Hill part. If we're talking about Rashee Rice here, and we're like, we don't know what he might like. What's the news story going to be tomorrow? Where I'm the Chiefs PR department, and I've got to put a statement together about Rashee Rice. I don't know. Probably nothing now because he's safe. He's getting 3 square meals a day. I mean, he's going to be he's just going to be chilling. But to that end,
know where he is, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
To that end, though, Tyreek Hill, like there's anything that could always come up about that guy too. So I don't know. If your answer to we've got a problem, we've got a problem child here on our hands. Who just won't listen in our wide receiver room, who won't follow the rules, and won't just be a good citizen. Let's go sign Tyreek Hill to alleviate that issue. I'm not sure that I'm for that, but you signed Diggs would be maybe a step up in that category. But he's got to walk the straight and narrow too. These guys, man, these wide receivers, they just think the world is their oyster and that they can do anything they want. And sometimes they're right, I guess, but I don't know. It's a mess. I know that much.
And they're seemingly the only ones available at this juncture of free agency. So that's
anybody sign Tyler Lockett? Let's get him back. Let's get a good citizen in the locker room.
Let's see what we've got here. As far
he
as
might have retired. I don't know.
Yeah, very well could have. He's he's available. Was last on the Raiders. Age 34 season. Yeah,
no retirement.
Kansas City guy. Yeah,
dude. I would sign. I'm not kidding you. I would sign Tyler Lockett. If I'm signing Tyreek Hill, I'm definitely signing Tyler Lockett too, because I need some good influences in this Chiefs wide receiver room.
Even that out somehow.
Yep.
I mean,
the yin and the yang.
I'm more still out there.
I'll never stoop that low. Nope. Don't even joke. Don't even joke.
Oh man, Juju.
No, he should. Now Juju, yes, I would take him back. But Sky Moore, he should have to share the cell with Rashee Rice just for what he did to my fantasy football teams over the years. So that's a crime. That's a crime. That's criminal action. Criminal action from Sky Moore. I believed in you. I'm just kidding. Just having some fun.
Oh, Hunter Renfro's out there. Jahan Dotson.
Hunter Renfro is a fun one. Yeah.
I mean, Curtis Samuel, maybe a little more on the expensive side, but Curtis Samuel's out there. Debo would be the perfect fit. The money would need to be right, whatever you have to work there. But, I mean, it was already something probably the Chiefs should have been thinking about. But now that seriously, I worry about the health and the availability of Rashee Rice for the regular season. I seriously do. Like maybe it's unfounded. Like more likely to play week 1, Patrick Mahomes or Rashee Rice.
Oh, Mahomes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I agree.
Good question, but it was an easy answer. Easy answer because Mahomes is playing. Yeah.
And it's probably
Rice, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, and both are probably very likely still because the timeline for Rice maybe is still like enough to rehab once he gets out of jail. And can
but he might still, I mean, you don't know what next is coming for Rashee Rice. So on the field or off the field, injury or something else. Yeah, I'm going to bet on Patrick Mahomes just following his rehab and being ready for his team over the wild card of Rashee Rice at this point.
875 KTGR. Do the Chiefs need to think about a free agent wide receiver now with Rashee Rice in jail, missing OTAs and mandatory minicamp? And some crucial rehab time because he just had surgery on his knee last week, a cleanup procedure, but it's going to take a little longer for him to recover from because he's in jail. Call or text us, 875-KTGR here on The Big Show if you want to chime in. We will talk more about that coming up, as well as Tony Petitti trying to use what I believe is pretty flawed logic to pick apart a 16-team model and instead go to 24, which the Big Ten clearly wants. We'll get to that next.
Want to see the Cardinals at Busch Stadium this summer? Enter our exclusive ticket giveaways on the KTGR app. Download it now and don't miss your next chance to win. Thanks to your Total Sports Station, KTGR.
My name is Lawrence Bowers, founder of the best youth basketball camp in the state of Missouri. Join us this summer for the 12th annual Camp Bowers on July 13th through the 15th and 6th annual Baby Ballers Camp on July 16th through the 17th at the Columbia Sports Fieldhouse. Whether your child is just starting to play or ready to elevate their game, our camps are designed for growth, structure, and results. So come train with me alongside players from Mizzou's men and women's basketball team and compete while having fun. Spots are limited. Register now at lbosports.com. MIZ.
Looking for ideas to update your curb appeal? Replacing the glass in your windows to remove outdated grids can make a big impact. This is Silas Kuntz with Kuntz Glass. We can replace your window glass for improved curb appeal and add low E for increased efficiency and make other repairs to keep your windows operating like new. Plus, we can do all of this for much less than the cost of a full window replacement. Call us today for your free estimate or visit us at kuntzglass.com.
Kuntz Glass, and you can see through it, we do it. Spring is here, and everything winter left behind is showing. The garage you can't park in, the shed you can't open, the attic full of, we'll deal with it later. Well, let me tell you, later is now. Time to call Wreck and Roll. From spring cleanouts and hauling junk away to full cleanups. They bring the crew, the dumpsters, and the muscle, so you don't have to. Get ahead of the clutter and start spring off clean with Wreck and Roll, where they roll in, wreck it right, and leave it clean. Find them at wreckandroll.net. When storms hit, the damage can be devastating. But really, you can prevent some of the damage a storm causes before it even happens with Advanced Tree Solutions. Advanced Tree Solutions protects you by removing hazardous trees and limbs so they don't destroy your home. Don't let a tornado or high winds decide what falls. Call the professionals with the gear, the crew, and the experience to keep your property safe. Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
A colony of termites. They make it sound so nice, don't they? A colony. Well, it's not nice. It's the vanguard of a precision operation that could involve up to as many as 1 million termites in your backyard. That's more termites than people in the Uzbekistan army. Think about that. The Uzbekistan army underground in your backyard, and they want to eat your house. Now, you can either call the National Guard, but they're busy, or call your friend Steve.
I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. Our Centricon system for termites doesn't just get them out of your house, it kills the entire colony, dead. Plus, we give a $250,000 termite damage warranty protecting your home. We're going to solve your pest problem, I guarantee it.
From the tenacious termites to the rascally rodents, call Steve's Pest Control. Online at stevespestcontrol.com.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Before the sun comes up and long after it sets, ABC 17 News and Storm Track Weather keep working for you, gathering the information your family needs to take on the day, alerting you to breaking news and health and safety concerns in our area, plus tracking the latest weather conditions to help you plan ahead. It's everything you need to know from the team you trust most. ABC 17 News and Storm Track Weather, where the news comes first.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Rashee Rice is a problem. Call or text us 573-875-KTGR if you want to check in on what you think the Chiefs should do now that Rashee Rice is in jail and on a bad knee that just got operated on. How can you rehab in a jail cell and not be exactly on track with where you need to be? It's tough. I can imagine. I've never been to jail before. Fingers crossed I never go there. But this guy, you know you're going to have the surgery. You know you're going to have a probation check coming. Stay off the weed. Not that hard. Jason texted in, Diggs and Reek, as options for free agent wide receiver. Yeah, look, it sounds counterintuitive to put Tyreek Hill in the room with all that situation going on, and it's like, oh yeah, that'll fix it. I mean, I just think it's inevitable at this point. It's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers situation, which maybe we'll get a chance to talk about later on in the show. But I always expect that, like, even though Aaron Rodgers has said nothing and the Steelers have said nothing, like, the guy's coming back. He just does this. Like, he waits until the news cycle is his, and then he says, yeah, I'm coming back. This is not that exact same situation, but it's been very clear that Tyreek Hill wants to be a Chief. It just comes down to whether the Chiefs feel all of a sudden that they need to add a Tyreek Hill to their team because of purely the football aspect of it. Not saying they need to for the off the field stuff, but it just seems like a natural type of reunion at this stage, albeit not the one that probably gets a bunch of fans excited at this point. Like, I don't think Tyreek Hill replaces Rashee Rice's production, but you're looking at just another body in the room that can show up every day, keep their body intact, make sure that you fill out a position so that you can add to the depth and keep that going. Whether that's Tyreek Hill, whether that's Stephon Diggs, whether it's Deebo Samuel, I think as far as biggest upside that you can get as far as production, Deebo might be the guy. But anybody at this point to at least fill out the room in case you got to be without Rashee Rice for a little bit. Call or text us 875-KTGR here on The Big Show if you want to discuss that. Brendan back from Busch Stadium. All right, Brendan, so this whole 2014 playoff discussion amplified by the Big Ten this week when they're having their spring meetings. The SEC is going to have their spring meetings next week. Found it very amusing also. Stuart Mandel posted this on Twitter saying, this is the resort that the Big Ten coaches and commissioners are meeting at to talk about unsustainable spending. And it's a lavish resort that's
where is it?
$1,000 a night. I'm not quite sure, but I know that I'm not going there anytime soon because I would be giving up my entire savings account. I'm not going there. It's just, man,
because I saw the pictures and I thought, I'm like, man, I sure feel like I've seen a photo of Diana Rossini here. But anyway, I was,
oh man,
that looked like there was some water. There was some water nearby. I want to know, why does the Big Ten, I assume I don't know, that's a coast somewhere. I think if you're doing the Big Ten meetings, you got to do them in, that ain't Indianapolis where they did it. They got to, you got to go to Big Ten.
There's some big lakes there,
I mean, that looked like a lake in Italy. I don't know that they should be allowed to outsource that outside of Big Ten country. You got to go somewhere in Big Ten country. You got to go to Piscataway, New Jersey or whatever. You got to, let's be fair to things. Anyway, what's going on? What did Tony Petitti do? What?
Well, Tony Petitti, here's the thing. His logic is so off base here. He's not only trying to prop up the 24-team model that he wants, the Big Ten wants, and seemingly the Big 12 and ACC wants. Everyone seemingly except the SEC and ESPN wants it. But he's also coming after the 16-team model by saying essentially, look, he would only see it to work in two ways, where if all 16 teams played the first round with no buys, and that decreases motivation to play in a conference championship game without the winner earning a bye. Or, he said, the bracket could feature the top two teams earning first round buys, and number 16 would face number 13, number 15 would face number 14. He also says in this situation, he thinks at least that conference championship games would likely still be eliminated, which I think is not a very fair assumption. I think you can very much still have conference championship games in this model, especially if you have a model that is still tiered, which you can still have in a 16-team model, and you can have those incentives. His argument is, and I'll read from the quote that he says here, at 24, you're always trying to improve your resume. So if you're somewhere between 16 and 24, 25, the last week of the season, you've got to protect your spot. That's number one. If you're somewhere between 17 or 18, you're trying to get in between 8 and 16 so you can get a home game. Home game's really valuable, right? So that last game you're playing, I don't understand the resting idea because you're not ever safely in one spot. This isn't the Philadelphia Eagles who know the last week of the season, whether they win or not, they can't improve their seed or make it worse. Well, you can still be in the spot that you were anyway because there's 8. It's 8 wide. These windows where you either get a bye or you get a home game first round or you don't get a home game first round, and it's way too many teams. And he's also propping up, well, that means there are more teams that are in it in the regular season. But it is doing damage to your high-profile games, very much so, because here's what I am genuinely asking of Tony Petitti. Do you think all of a sudden that CBS is going to be happy to skip out on a matchup like Oregon and Michigan when both teams are clearly in the playoff, and they're going to be happier to take a game that would be more consequential to playoff fate, presumably something like Iowa versus Minnesota? You think they're going to be happier to take that game? No, they're not. They're still going to want the high-profile game, but now all of a sudden that game is a little less meaningful, so they're also not that very happy about the return there, and they might come to you and say, hey, I don't want to pay as much money that I'm paying for your big-time window anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah, I look at that and say, I get it. If you're trying to justify this 24-team idea, you do put yourself in the position of having to hype up Iowa v. Minnesota to see who sneaks into that top 24. But, like, we all understand that that's not the same, that's not better than the big-time matchups remaining big-time by having stakes on the line. And, no, like, if you're talking about teams that are ranked near the tippy top and, like, one of them's going to lose, they're not even going to drop a spot. Maybe 1 or 2. So, no, they're not going to – there's not going to be stakes to that of, well, you know, you got to stay above a certain line to avoid falling into the next tier. No, the tiers are too big, as you said, and it's not going to be consistently something that brings about more entertainment and excitement to the regular season. It's just going to be less, and he can justify it any which way he wants, but I don't think anybody's going to buy what he's selling.
In the middle of that grouping, I think he is overselling the home game aspect of it in that first round, because we're not necessarily even seeing that right now in the current format between, 8 and 9. It's not like teams are all of a sudden clamoring to get as high of a seed as possible because they're at 9 or 10. No, at that point, they're just trying to be in the thing. Like, that's where it's at. And so I do worry that a team at 17 or 18 is not going to push all that hard to go for a home game. I don't think they will. I think they're going to be satisfied with wherever their spot is. And they're going to be like, you know what? One loss is not going to drop us 6 spots or 7 spots. We'll be fine, especially with no conference championships. So his logic is so flawed there. And look, a 16-team bracket can work with conference championships. That also is not a very fair assumption. Like, you can have conference championship weekend where it is right now and still have 5 weekends worth of a 16-team bracket that looks exactly like the SEC tournament does and still get done by mid-January. It can still happen. Now, you can probably need to work around Christmas for 2027. There's still an Army-Navy question, like, where do you put that? But in the end, you can still do this if you want. You can still have 16 teams, have a tiered system to where the top 4 get a double bye, to where 5 through 8 gets a single bye. 9 through 12 gets a home game, and then the rest get, they're in the thing. That's the incentive. And the bottom half is all playing the first weekend. It can still happen that way. I don't know if that's the model that they're thinking, but
it's not. No. Yeah, it's not. That's what we learned from a comment like that is that it's already dead. Like conference championship weekend is dead. It's already determined that it's dead because nobody's really fighting to save it. Why that is not super clear to me. Like, I think we know that it's currently not incentivized in the current system. And so it feels maybe like it would be too hard to come up with something where they could save it. And it's just not where their attention is. Their attention is the big pie in the sky dreams of, I guess, more money from an expanded playoff. But like we've talked about, I feel like those conference championship games get eyeballs. So I don't know why we're just ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater on that. But it just seems clear that the only people that want to save it are the fans, because they're like, yeah, it's a pretty good weekend of football and I like good football. But the leagues, I don't think any of them seem to find the value in it. Like, think about the SEC. Their top dogs are all probably like, yeah, whatever. We've been to it. We've been there. We've done that. It's like it's that next tier of program, like a Missouri, that would be like, man, that's a point of pride to win a championship. And I think there's too much of that voice of the big dog, the blue bloods, that are just kind of getting like, whatever. SEC championship game. What's it do for my playoff seeding? Like, we're too far down the road in the sport of catering to the playoff as an entity, as just being the end all be all and the only thing of importance, that we're losing some other aspects. Like, lots of things can be resolved in figuring out a new playoff format. Like Army Navy, no, it's not really a problem. They're going to play it in an exclusive window on a day that they're going to play other football games. Like, that's just the way it's going to end up. But some of this stuff, man, it's like the stuff that I feel like fans care about. They just are it's so dismissive of the idea that a conference championship weekend would be worth like baking in and incentivizing within the structure so that teams want to play it and have value and pride in winning a championship. But they're so far beyond that it's just very transparent. Like, yeah, if we don't think it makes us the most money, or we don't think it's, best of the playoff, then forget about it. Like, that's a lot of history that you just thrown out the window, but whatever.
And I have serious doubts that college football schools will recoup the amount of money they lose from conference championship games. Because, again, reminder, it's not just the schools that are in it that benefit from it. It's everybody. SEC evenly distributes out its revenue that they make every year, and Mizzou gets a huge chunk of it. And so I question their thinking on whether they believe that they can recoup all those losses from just nixing the conference championships and saying that, yeah, we're going to get all of that back by adding 12 playoff games. Are you? I really don't think you are, because those 12 playoff games are not going to be the moneymakers that you expect them to be. Ever.
I'm a skeptic as well. Yeah, I don't think we know for sure. Like, I get it. It's the playoffs, so we'll love it and be watching it. But, like, think about what you think of ranked matchups 24 versus 18 right now. Like, if that happens, that's a good game. That's cool. But, like, does any of us believe that it has championship implications? Even if you let them in the field, I start to wonder as you get down that far in the rankings if it's realistic. So, I don't know. Not a fan. Keep it at 12. But, again, emotionally, I've let go because I know that we're going to lose. The fans are going to lose.
Call or text us. Tony Petiti trying to explain away the 16-team playoff and stump for his 24-team model. Call or text us 573-875-KTGR on what you think. Live Local Sports Center coming up. And then, Aaron Rodgers. He says he's done. Says he's done. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll explain why. Next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening, I'm Natalie Touche, and this live local Sports Center update is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it, leestirecompany.com. Mizzou baseball dropped its second round game of the SEC tournament 12-2 to number 16 Mississippi State in 7 innings this morning. The Tigers finished the season 24-31 with 6 SEC wins, in addition to earning their first SEC tournament win since 2017. Mizzou men's basketball finalized its 2026-27 coaching staff yesterday with the addition of assistant coaches Tavares Hardy, Jimmy Foster, Jason Crow Sr., and Zach Reynolds. The group brings strong experience developing players at both the college and high school levels. St. Louis Cardinals opened their series against the Pittsburgh Pirates in the walk-off winning fashion 9-6 last night. Ivan Herrera played hero with a walk-off 3-run homer in the 10th to seal the deal. Cards return to action tonight with pregame shortly and first pitch at 6:45 here on KTGR. Kansas City Royals look to avoid a series sweep from the Boston Red Sox tonight at 6:40 p.m. after losing last night 7-1. Up next is your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast brought to you by Steve's Pest Control. The weather in Missouri is unpredictable and so are termites. They're coming, it's a guarantee, and the local professionals at Steve's Pest Control guarantees to eliminate them. Visit stevespestcontrol.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mostly cloudy skies as we drop down into the low 50s overnight. We're looking at a cool day. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with high temperatures in the upper 60s. We'll have a chance for a few showers in the evening with a better shot at rain and storms on Friday, as we'll see morning temperatures in the 50s, only warming up into the upper 60s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Over the years, it has meant the Gas House Gang, Stan the Man, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, the Wizard, Big Mac, Yachty, Waino, and Pujols. All those names, and they provided so many memories. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, most importantly, has meant championship baseball. We'll be describing every play right here on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Gray Bar.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Celebrating 50 years in business. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
Time is almost up. There are only 10 spots left for the Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel 9-day European Christmas vacation. And once they're gone, well, they're gone. Picture yourself walking historic streets, taking in breathtaking views, and experiencing Europe the way you've always dreamed about. These final spots are going fast, so don't spend another year saying, maybe next time. Because next time may just never happen. Save up to $350 when you book before June 7th. But you better hurry. Reserve your spot today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
Everyone's looking for their paradise. For some, the search starts at a dispensary. At Shangri-La, it is the dispensary. Because Shangri-La isn't a shady, oh, I can't wait to get out of here kind of spot. It's a welcoming, fun place to hang out, watch TV, and learn about the massive product selection with the cool staff. Whether you're a regular or first-timer, they'll get you set up just the way you like. Because Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
Gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Sweetie, the backyard's that way.
Oh, yeah. Just figured I'd use the toilet.
It's not normal for your man to pee indoors. He could be suffering from low D. Low deck. A low deck just isn't as fun to pee off.
Maybe I'll try sitting down.
Or no D. No deck at all. But there's help. With Kretsch's Custom Exteriors, a sky-high pee platform is all he needs to be and pee like a man again. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors, true beauty is on the outside.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. One of our early claims we had to make, unfortunately, was from a hailstorm. And as soon as that first hail hit our house, I texted Phyllis and I said, oh boy, we're in trouble. Phyllis walked us through everything, made everything very seamless. Phyllis made it so easy. Her team followed up, checked in, and really went to bat for us. When things weren't moving properly, she would make sure that everything was accounted for, and she really just did an above and beyond job for us and everyone we referred her to.
Play It Again Sports, Little League Soccer, low lights. Emma into the box. She shoots and scores for the other team. Shot on net, and the goalie is nowhere to be found. Oh, there he is. He's back from the porta potty with Dad. Owen into the open, dribbles, stops, and waves at his mom.
Hi, honey.
Kids' sports aren't always pretty, but with the right gear, they can at least look like pros. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
It's the event every new and expecting parent needs to attend. The Midmo Baby Expo, presented by Boone Health, is happening on June 6th from 8 a.m. to noon at the Courtyard by Marriott. From diapers and formula for baby to essential oils and massages for mom, you'll learn about new baby products and parenting resources, participate in fun giveaways, diaper changing competitions, seminars, and prize drawings. For more information and tickets, go to MidmoBabyExpo.com. It's the Midmo Baby Expo, Saturday, June 6th.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
Well, Cardinals coming up in just a little bit, 6:45 first pitch. Thanks for tuning in on the KTGR app, KTGR.com, YouTube, and Facebook. 573 texting in. Fellas, when do we start talking about JJ as Rookie of the Year potential? I mean, right now, if you want, like, in the mix, right, Brendan? Probably not the leader, but it's in the mix.
I'd have to check. I mean, Sal Stewart had a great month. At the end of April, they had us fill out, us writers, a ballot for Player of the Month that included like that tail end of March and then April as 1 month, basically. And I was like scrubbing the seeds, like I'm a selection committee member for the NCAA tournament. Looking at all the stats, I was trying to find a way to give it to JJ, who had the most runs scored by far, but Sal Stewart had a crazy April. I don't think he's really kept it up, though. So JJ obviously maybe tailed off a little bit, too. I think he is going to be in that conversation. I think the numbers will dictate that as we go along. But he'll be in the running for sure.
If he keeps this up, absolutely. And we'll see what it means down the line for the Cardinals. But he's at a 782 OPS, 9 homers and 24 ribbies, 5 stolen bases. That is what you want to see.
Bunch of runs scored has got to be way, way, way up there. So yeah, he's in a good spot.
We'll see. Call or text us 875-KTGR here on the Big Show if you want to chime in. Okay, Aaron Rodgers said he's done after this year. That he's retiring. I was trying to find the audio, but I couldn't find it. But he said something along these lines last year too. So I'll believe it when I see it. Like, seriously, Brendan, like I will not, I know it's kind of like proving a negative, which you can't do, but like, I don't know how you prove a sight of a guy retiring because he spends 3 months every offseason in semi-retirement. And then he says, hey, I'm back. Just like he did last weekend, waited until after the NFL schedule was released, and then said, hey, I'm back with the Steelers.
Yeah, he's like, that doesn't look too tough. That schedule's okay. I can handle it.
Yeah, I can do that. I can deal with it. Yeah, the man loves attention.
Yeah.
So I'll believe it when I see it. And I don't think he likes I don't think it's attention in the way of, you know what, I'm going to go start a podcast or I'm going to launch this big rate or media career after I'm done playing. No, it's, I want you to be second guessing about what I'm actually going to do. But he did answer pretty emphatically when the question was asked, like, hey, it's a 1-year deal. Is there a discussion of another contract? He said, this is it. This is it. Essentially. Whatever that means, which most people are taking to mean, and it's fair to take it that way, that he's done after this year. So that should be the expectation, but I'll believe it when I see it, Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably correct. Maybe last year went so well that it's the reason he wanted to do another one. Like, he was never going to say right away that he wanted to do this year. Like, he had to draw it out. That's his MO. I really liked him more before I knew as much about him. Like, I liked him when he was a Packer, and I thought he was a great player, and I just didn't really know anything about his personality. Yeah. And now I'm just kind of like mostly annoyed by him. He's kind of funny though. Like he'll say some things that are funny that I'm like, it's not all bad, but
sure.
Yeah, he's probably done after this, but I'm emotionally divested from whether he is or isn't, right? Like I'm no longer on the will he, won't he Aaron Rodgers coaster. I'm just like, yeah, all right, whatever. I'll see you when I see you, or I won't, I guess. I'm not invested in it anymore because he's been doing it for so many years. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. It's just he wants you to be hanging on his every word. So if you're not, then hey, kudos to you. You've leveled up, and you're just like, yeah, you're not going to fall for this kind of stuff anymore. So, I mean, good for him. The Steelers will go 9-8 again and bow out in the first round of the playoffs if they make it that far, or anything.
As is tradition. Yeah.
So they'll keep that train going, even with Mike McCarthy as their head coach. He's not going to take them to new heights.
Especially with Mike McCarthy as their head coach. Are you kidding me?
Oh, but Brendan, he's back with Aaron Rodgers, so all of a sudden things are going to be better, right?
Doesn't always work that way. Hey, remember Geno Smith and Pete Carroll last year? Anyway.
Exactly. That was match made in heaven. So, yeah, we'll see how the Steelers handle it as I still consider them in quarterback purgatory because of this exact situation. But we'll see how it goes. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks also to Adam Ziervogel and Megan McConaughey from the Columbia CVB for joining us earlier. You can hear that conversation on our podcast page if you missed it. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock to talk more about the Cardinals. They'll be done with their series by that point against the Pirates. Talk more Royals, see if they can salvage a win tonight against the Red Sox, and a lot more. So don't miss it tomorrow. He's Brendan. I'm Andy. We're done for now.